Hello, welcome to Hot Mess Mountain Mamas, episode 6.
Woo-hoo.
I'm Jackie.
Oh, I'm Becca.
And this is Becca. I think she thought I was going to give a better, longer introduction. And I was like, bam.
No, it was a perfect introduction. I just got distracted because my printer suddenly came on. So I was like, what's happening?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So today we're going to talk about, I was like, what are we going to talk about? We are talking about that first year, that like first 6 months to a year of bringing baby into the household, first baby, and what that looked like for us, and whether or not the expectations we had about that were realistic or not. So Becca, why don't you share, when you got home from the hospital and life at home began with brand new baby.
For real. Yes. Hold on. Just 1 second. Hey, Vera, sweetie. I'll get it for you when I'm all done. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
The dog's taking off with Charlie soda, so that's fine. I'm gonna drink some Crush, and
it doesn't. What I love is that, okay, so we're doing a couple episodes like this. This is a
yes. Oh, I forgot. Yeah,
we're doing a couple episodes like this because one, Jackie's going to be out of the country. She's flying away for a while, and and we thought about trying to get together in person. There she goes. Say bye-bye. But this one ended up having a fever today. So we were like, you know what? Let's just try this out. Let's see how this goes. So this is not going to be the norm. We will hopefully be back to like the scenery, like what Jackie's got.
Yes.
You won't be in the office with
my
me.
Beautiful, beautiful scenery. Yes.
It is really beautiful, actually. I was like, wow, Jackie's got an amazing view too.
Yes. So, it's hard to have a bad view when you live in the mountains.
It's true. It's true. Hey.
Yeah.
And
I am going out of the country, and so hopefully I'll get to share a little bit about that in a future episode about where I went and why, but not today. So you have to stay tuned.
Come back. Anticipate.
Yes.
So,
okay. So what was that first? What did that look like when you got home, Becca? Hi,
so baby. So because I had a pretty normal birthing experience, I actually was released to go home the next day. Like it was pretty quick. Like they were like, "Oh, you look great. Like you can head on home." So we went home, and Jordan's parents actually came down and they helped some, but it definitely was. It was also very well. It's Colorado. I was going to say it was unusual, but it was May 28th, and it was still very cold. The house that we were living in was very cold, and so I would say it was like that first. I knew that first week or two is kind of enveloped in like, okay, my main job is to take care of baby and take care of myself so that I can heal. Like. But you also have help doing that. And so for the first couple of weeks, because we actually had people there helping, it was like not a big deal. Like, and people bring you food, like, especially here in Lake City. I don't know what it is about Lake City if other places are like this, but they are like the food town. Like somebody has surgery, somebody has a baby, somebody's just going through a hard time. You better believe you're going to have food. People are just going to bring you food. So
yes,
it's pretty awesome, actually. So we had like all the needs were taken care of. Everything was done. But for me, when the transition really hit that it was like, this is not what I was expecting, is probably about a month into it when kind of all the food is gone. And now you've got like, it's just you, like it was just me and it was just Jordan. And I was expecting that he would jump in and help more. I was expecting that he would be like, oh yeah, I'll just take the baby, or that he would just know that he'd be able to read my mind. Really, that's what I was expecting, that he would be able to read my mind and know when I needed help. and know when he should take the baby. Unfortunately, husbands are not mind readers.
Dang it.
If you have been married for any length of time, you probably figured this out. As much as we want them to be, they are not.
No,
And
no,
so for me, that was a big struggle, because I started to like believe those lies again, just like we talked about with like after you're first married. It's almost like those same lies started to pop up in my head again of like, well, it's probably because he just doesn't really care, or he's just
yeah,
not observant. And so he's not helping you because, he's being selfish. He's so consumed with himself. And like
yeah,
all those lies, like those stories that I just started believing, that this must be it. This must be why. And so I became a bitter mom, and like internalized it to the point where I was like, well, I guess I'm just on my own then. Like, you kind of get that attitude. I don't know what it is. It's such a yucky attitude, but it's
yeah,
like, it's almost like it makes you feel better. And so then it's like pride creeps up, like, well, I can just do it. I can just handle it. Like, I'll just make sure everything's taken care of. But then you walk around with this chip on your shoulder, and you're giving your husband this cold shoulder, and he's like, I don't know what I did. Maybe it's postpartum hormones, like, which some of it
yeah. Nah,
maybe, but I also think God is above postpartum hormones, and he has given us the ability to recognize those things and be able to start to combat them once you start to recognize them. Sometimes it takes other people telling us, like, hey, mom,
yeah, yeah,
but I also know, um, I did not deal with any depression though either. I just dealt with angst. So
mhm,
I can't really speak to the depression side of things,
yeah.
that emotional struggle that goes on whenever people have that postpartum depression. I just had anger. So that was my
I
my
wasn't
experience.
sad. I was just angry.
Well, exactly. I was just an angry new mom. Um, but I wasn't
Uh,
angry at the baby. I just was angry at my husband. So it was interesting trying to work through that. And that took me months. That took me
yeah,
months to work through that. Which, looking back, I'm like, that's so sad. Like, so this is if you are an angry postpartum mom, my encouragement to you would be to definitely voice that. And maybe this is a great way for you to start to recognize that, of like,
mhm,
oh yeah, I am an angry postpartum mom. I'm not sad, I'm angry. That this is, it's like you can overcome that, and you can through, like the Bible says, renewing our minds. And even once I finally started talking to Jordan about it too, it was like, oh,
yeah,
yeah, suddenly once I reopened the communication channels, and he's actually better at opening the communication channels than I am. Like, he's
uh,
really good at pursuing and being like, what's wrong? What did I do? Why are you acting like this? Do you need something? Like, sometimes to the point where you're like, would you just leave me alone? But it's actually been so helpful for our marriage that he has been that way. Because I'm the type of person that will just turn it off and shut it off. Like, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to pretend like it's not there.
mm,
So kind of comes back to the whole, like, make sure you're communicating with your spouse when you have a new baby.
yes.
What
Communication.
what you are expecting. Like,
Yeah, yeah. That's important.
yeah. So tell me, Jackie,
Yes.
about
Yes. Well, we had a different experience with introducing baby into the household. We were youth ministers at the time, and we like really still planned all the activities, still planned all the trips that we had planned before. And we just thought, we're going to do all the same things. We'll just have a baby with us. Like, that's fine. I mean, I've been around babies plenty. I was like, sure, like they eat and they cry sometimes, and you got to change their diaper once in a while, but like, they'll and we'll have a car seat now and diaper bag. But other than that, it'll be basically the same with a baby. And that was definitely like not our experience. So our daughter was born. She kind of had some health issues right off the get-go, but they were like determined or unknown. The doctor just told me that I'm a first time mom and babies are fussy and babies cry and like it's just a transition period. But she I mean, like we went to Target, like we left the hospital, we stayed an extra day. We ended up staying an extra day. But then they released us and we like went to Target because I thought like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna,
Yeah.
it's fine. Like I'm just gonna do what I always did. And we had some things that we like needed or realized that we should have got. And we're like, we'll just swing by Target. Um, and really that was a big part of me just trying to like make a point for myself that like having a baby didn't need to change anything.
Yeah.
But then we had a huge reality check very shortly, like within, you know, the first 2 weeks of being home, it was pretty apparent that something was wrong. And the doctors were not taking me seriously. They just kept being like, first time mom, babies cry, babies are upset. Um, but she was like very unconsolable for like more than like when they say colic is like 3 hours of crying a day for like so many days. I can't remember now, but she was like, I think that was like the number of hours she wasn't crying a day. Like it was constant crying. um, and so we tried to do all the things that we did before. We even went on a youth trip and oh my gosh, like it was such a disaster. Like it was like, this baby does not stop crying. Like it doesn't matter what I do. The only time she would stop crying is if she was swaddled and in a carrier on me constantly, like 24/7. She wouldn't sleep, she didn't do anything. So I was like, oh, all those things we thought we were going to do and like the first couple of months we still tried and it became apparent pretty quick. Like Chris's mom lived 2 hours away and we tried to go visit and she cried the entire 2 hours in the car, like the entire 2 hours. We stopped at one point and got her out just because we were like couldn't take the crying anymore, you know. It was like, oh my gosh, like it doesn't matter, she just wouldn't stop crying. And so I did actually get postpartum depression. So first they didn't take me seriously, then they were like, well maybe it's acid reflux, like stop eating all these things, all these foods. So cold turkey, I cut a ton of things out of my diet. Like I was losing weight really fast because I didn't know what to eat because all the normal things I was eating cut out. And then my milk dried up immediately because my body wasn't nourished well. So it was like, it just became this like, this spiral.
Oh.
And like without any support, like my mom didn't live close by, his mom didn't live close by. None of our friends had babies yet that lived near us. And really just we were kind of like basically on our own. And so I did get really depressed. And also I was like kind of borderline gonna lose it because she did not stop crying. Like at one point I had to leave her in her seat and walk out of this house and down the road a couple blocks just so I couldn't hear it because I needed, like, I was like, I have got to not hear crying for like 5 minutes. And that's all it was. It was like maybe like 3 to 5 minutes. But I was like, I've got to like regroup and get a break from the crying long enough to like calm down because I would get so stressed. Yeah. I couldn't, like at the grocery store, she would cry the whole time we were at the grocery store. Like I couldn't check out. Like it was just like I was like constantly in this high stress like mode. And then you know, but then we, you know, at first we tried to do the things we had done before. So like as a couple, frequently Chris would come home after work, we'd eat dinner, whatever, and then he'd like play video games for a little bit. Well, I was like, you're gone. I'm like literally listening to the baby cry all day long. And when he would walk in the door, I would be like, I can't, like, she would cry through a shower. Like she would cry she just constantly cried. So I would be like, here's this crying baby because I need like 30 minutes of not crying baby. And he's like it kind of disrupted his kind of routine.
Yep.
And so he didn't think like, oh, I should take the baby. Like he wanted to keep doing his same routine, you know, like that was his natural routine.
Yep.
And at the time, there were those live games, like where they could play like
Yeah.
battle games and stuff, but they were live. So
Yeah.
they'd be like 4-minute cycles. And but like you couldn't pause it, right? Like you'd be
Yep.
out of the game if you stopped playing. So you couldn't
Yep.
push pause. And I would be like, this is the longest 4 minutes of my entire life to have to sit here and
Yes.
wait for you to finish your game. So I just got that. Yeah. It's like if you do not like I will throw your game system out in front of the next truck that drives by in front of our house. And he was like, no, you won't. And I'm like, oh, I'm like this close to cracking and I will do it. Like I will do it. I think he was like, he didn't really think I would, but he was also like, she might. I don't know. She might. It's like these big trucks used to drive by because they were doing construction like way up the hill, but they come by like in the morning and at the end of the day they'd come back by. And I was like, oh, I know when they come by and your game system will be in front of their tires. Like
it's gonna happen.
But so we had to communicate and figure out like what is he, what do I need? And then I had to be like, I had to pull back from the youth group because I was like, I really need to focus on my health and her health. And we're not going to be able to do things the way that we have done them before. And it's going to have to change. And that was kind of, that was a hard adjustment because we had friends later who had babies and we had, relatives who'd had babies. Nobody was really close to us at the time, but, close in vicinity. But, they would be like, oh, we took our baby camping or we took our baby wherever, or like some Disney trip or whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, we could do that too. But then like the reality was we had a completely different situation and we couldn't do that too. So, so, it was, when Sadie was, like 9 months old, there was a girl who had a baby who was right like in the same age. She was like, her baby was like 8 or 9 months. And she was like, isn't having a baby the most awesome thing in the whole entire world? I can't wait to have another one. And I was like, girl, like I am still trying to recover from the first 6 months. Like I do not like now. Like I was
I'm
like,
gonna slap you now.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just breathe.
Deep breath.
I was like, that was not, that was nice. But the way she was like, isn't it just the best? And I was like, I don't know what to say right now, but having a baby is hard. Okay. I didn't really
real
with her a lot after that. I'll be honest. Yeah, we didn't hang out a whole lot after that because I was like, I can't
handle you right now.
Yeah, because it really took it was really pretty miserable for about 4 months. Crying constantly. That wears on you. And then somewhere between 4 and 6 months, the crying kind of diminished. And then between 6 and 8 months, she made we figured out a lot of things. And she also just was getting a little bit better. She has some diagnoses and stuff that still are with her to this day. But we were figuring some things out and there was a big improvement. So around 8 months, it was finally we can do this. This is okay. But at 9 or 10 months, I'd barely gotten out of that. I'm just trying to survive, mode. And so I was like, no. Seriously. I'm still trying to survive. And for Chris and I too, there were periods in that, not long periods, but points where I was like, oh my gosh, are we gonna survive having a baby together? And it really took communicating well, being honest with each other and being like, this is what I need. And, him being able to say, this is what I need. And getting on the same page, so.
Yeah.
But, so it's interesting. Having a baby is interesting. It's fun. They're beautiful. They're awesome. It's it is a transition for sure.
It is for sure. And just like we mentioned last time, we would love to hear other people's birthing stories. Cause I don't know if you can tell, but, and I love this, Jackie, I love this, that we have our birthing stories were both in the pendulum. And
Yeah.
baby in the first 6 months to a year is like both ends of the pendulum too. I took my baby on a pack trip. So this is, this is,
Wish. Yeah.
yeah. So I think it's just cool.
Yeah.
That we have both ends of the spectrum here, and that
Yeah.
hopefully it'll encourage other people to share their stories.
Yeah.
And if there are moms out there who are in the pit of depression and dealing with a baby that's screaming, they know who they can reach out to.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yes. I had like a baby survival kit that for a lot of years after that I used to give. I mean, I'm kind of out of the age group where a lot of my friends are having babies, but the first few years afterward, I was like, here is my baby survival kit, because there were just things that I was like, I wish I had this.
Yep.
I wish I'd had this and not needed it, rather than not have had it and realized I really needed this.
Yep.
So,
yep. That's cool.
yeah.
People, you know what you should do is write down everything that was in the baby survival kit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And post it for us.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be a good idea. Yeah. Okay. I'll have to think back like 13 years.
I know.
There are things that I know for sure were in there. Yeah, there are things that I know for sure.
You're going to be on an airplane.
It's true. Wait, for like 13 hours. That's plenty of time. So, totally.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool. All right.
Cool.
Well, last words, Becca?
No, where can we find you, Jackie?
Oh, on Instagram at Jackie Cambish. And Cambish is with a K, by the way, in case nobody, Kambish. And on Facebook at Jackie Cambish blog, I think Faith and Family blog. And of course, our page on YouTube.
Yep. Hot Mess Mountain Mamas.
Hot Mess Mountain Mamas, Becca and Jackie. Where can they find you?
So my tag besides the one on YouTube is at Becca Maria EO. So
yes. Awesome.
That's where you can find me. Instagram, Facebook. Those are the only ones though.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. I'm not on any of the others. All right. Well, hope everybody has a blessed week.
Yeah. And we will talk to you guys next weekend. Yay! See you later.